Welcome back, everyone, once again to another episode of Baptized and Clueless. I'm your host, Yusuf, along with my host, Michelle. Michelle, how are you doing today?
Wonderful. So excited for today's topic.
Awesome. I feel like I'm yelling. And our other co-host, Mr. Day One himself, Wesley, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing okay, Yusuf.
Awesome. Glad to hear my co-hosts are always doing good. That means I don't
Yeah.
have to do much. So,
Yeah, I won't lie. I really like that Mr. D1 nickname. I don't know. It suits you, Wes.
he earned it. He heard it come to fruition from the beginning.
Yeah.
All he said was yes. So today's topic.
We had no choice.
Hold
Dang.
it. So we're a little giddy today, folks. Today's topic is fasting. So it's entitled "Not So Fast: The Journey of Fasting." I know, right?
Yeah.
Clever.
Mhm.
Yep.
So what's fitting about it is that people hear the word fasting, especially when they're starting their walk with God. Actually, it doesn't matter when they walk. If they're not seasoned in fasting, it becomes a little intimidating, right?
hmm
Fasting
Yeah.
pretty much is it's about submission and discipline and self-control and being willing to die to flesh kind of thing. And with
Yeah.
all that said, it's scary. People would rather sit there with a horror movie and to go through that because it's that serious, right? And we have so much misconceptions about fasting as well. But the overall misconception is it's something you got to do, right? And if you don't do it perfect, you're sinning. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's something to be used for us to get closer to God and for us to be submitted to Him and also to kill the flesh.
Yeah.
Nothing we do is going to be 100%, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And so, once again, we put this pressure on ourselves, and that pressure gets in the way of our connection with God and our walk with God because we're only human. And if there's a way to make a mistake,
Yeah.
we will find it.
Yep.
So when it comes to fasting, Michelle, what's the first thing that you can recall? Like, have you? First of all, let me ask this. Let me rephrase that. Have
Yeah.
you done fasting before?
So interestingly enough, I was raised Catholic, which technically you should be fasting for Lent. I have never fasted in my life until last year.
Until
Mm.
So
last year?
40 years of life, 40 plus years of life. My first time starting to fast was last year when I started to be intentional with my walk with God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. The intention
Never.
makes a difference. It
hmm
A huge one.
does.
Yeah.
Wesley, what about you?
Yeah, ever since I started joining the church, transformative church,
Yeah.
I've been, fasting with them because, every January they do their annual fasting.
Right.
And ever since then, that's when I've been fasting with them. And so, I've been with them since 2020. So,
Okay.
uh, you know, ever since then I fasted with, but I didn't start fasting with them until like I would say 2022.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
ever since then, that's when I started fasting with them.
No, I'm with you with that. I don't think I started till until it was a church, not a mandate, but church was asking them for those who want to fast during the top of the
Yeah.
year. That's the only time I started. But and of course, you get gung ho when you hear this is something that you could do for Jesus. And
Yep.
all right, what
Yeah.
fast I want to do? And I go straight to Daniel fast. And all I keep seeing is all the
Yeah.
what you can, what you can't, what you can't. You can only eat this, you can only eat that. Like,
Yeah.
and now that I say this to you, I'm saying it to myself, and here I am talking about the people of Israel. Man, you had manna. Well, I had a better
Right.
list than they did under Daniel's fast, and I struggled. So
Man.
That's so true.
struggled.
Struggle for real.
I'm in the grocery store looking for things without yeast. I'm like, everything has yeast in it. What do you mean no yeast? And I found this bread that was, I think it was, is it Ezekiel bread? It's named,
Ezekiel bread. I have
yeah.
a funny fasting story about Ezekiel bread after you tell yours.
So I find this bread in the freezer. It has no yeast. I'm elated. Yes, I mean it's bread. It didn't say you're not gonna eat anything, but look how difficult it is just to control our fleshly. What would I say? Like things that we're so used to.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
We're so used to
Yeah.
toast and jam, toast and butter in the morning with your breakfast, and now it's like for the next 21
some
days,
eggs.
you will not be having bread. Like, I will not be having bread. Because let's
Yeah.
face it, unlike
Oh,
those days, we don't bake nothing.
Mm.
Right? So you're not baking
yep,
bread, you're relying on what's in the store. And if you don't see it in the store, you could
yeah,
crash out. I don't care what people say, it's bread, I know, but
yeah.
you could crash out
Yeah.
because you're getting a lot of rejections as you go through the aisles. No, no, no. You pick up all these loaves and everything right in the middle of the pack, that big YEAST is right there. Yeast. It's like, oh,
Yes.
right? But it's again, it's so much about the adjustment mentally and spiritually.
Yeah.
It's like, so
Yeah.
why did you can't eat bread for 21 days? It's not you can't eat bread for your life. It's so difficult for us to
Right.
sacrifice for the 21 days, yet someone went on the cross and sacrificed for
Yeah.
eternity. And
Yeah.
we are, we are spitting
Mm-hmm.
out on bread.
Hmm.
Maybe it's just
Yeah.
me, but that's just one thing on that list.
It's not. It's not you.
Yeah, it's not.
You take away bread from people, and it's like all of a sudden you don't have no sense.
Oh my God.
Mm.
My Italian friends would not be having it.
Right.
They would not be having it. No, no, no. My Indian friends would be like, oh no, but they got naan. There's no yeast.
Yeah.
So they're
Oh,
laughing at us.
well, technically, you can't have any leavening agents either. So you can't have like baking powder, baking soda,
Right,
so all
exactly.
of it. So I actually,
Exactly.
funny story about the Ezekiel bread. I just came. I've done the Daniel fast before, but
Hmm.
this particular last round that I did a Daniel fast very recently,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was where my hormones were at, but all I wanted was bread. And then I remembered Ezekiel bread. So I went and got myself a loaf of Ezekiel bread
Mm-hmm.
and read the ingredients. And I was like, yes, no yeast in it.
Yeah.
And when I tell you probably 3 slices a day, I won't even pretend. Like, let's not pretend.
Ah,
So I was doing, don't get me wrong. I was definitely
Mhm.
on my fruits and veggies. I was
yeah.
being very good, clean, but I was definitely on at least 3 slices of bread a day. Don't get it twisted.
Mhm.
Ask me why when I was about to go buy the second bag of bread, something came to my mind, and I decided to go Google something about the Ezekiel bread.
Oh
And all of
no,
a
don't
sudden, I
ruin
saw
it for me,
something
yo.
saying, I have to ruin this. And then it says the Ezekiel bread is not okay for Daniel fasting. And I was like, what? And I went
Man.
and read. I said, why not? It says because it has yeast. And I go, no, it doesn't. I read the ingredients because I saw gluten, but there was no yeast.
Yeah.
I go back to my bag of bread that's literally got 2 slices left in it while I'm fasting. I reread the ingredients, and right next to gluten, it says yeast. And I went, oh, no, God.
You missed it.
Oh,
There is one.
and
There
so that ruined it for me because it does have yeast. But I said, you
no.
see how
Mm-mm.
Satan will try and play with you because I read the ingredients and
Oh gosh.
yeast was right next to gluten.
Oh
And
no.
I saw gluten, but I did not see yeast.
Oh
And I
no.
said, see how the enemy was trying to play with me when I was trying to stay focused
Yeah. Yeah.
on being intentional in this walk. And something as simple as I did not see yeast written right next to the word gluten, which I knew it said. And I've been mulling back this bread like it's nobody's business. And I literally
Guilt
just
free
started,
at
I
that.
said, God, I'm so. And yes, remember, there's 2 slices left in this bag at this point. So I'm thinking, so if I just eat the left, but I say
Oh
all
my
this to
goodness.
say,
Mhm.
I actually say all this to say is that when you're fasting, the beautiful thing about fasting is not getting it perfect. The
Right.
beautiful thing about fasting is the journey
Mhm.
of learning intentionality with yourself. And
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word scarcity, that's the incorrect word,
Mhm.
but understanding that you remove the abundance and the excess and you realize how much you are distracted from God from little things.
Yes. Yes.
And it really
Mhm.
puts that focus back on God. And I have a rule for myself when I'm fasting, and don't get it twisted, I'm not perfect with this, but
Mhm.
I aim to, if I feel like, because with Daniel fasting, people can do it in so many different ways. And I've done it in a few different ways. You can
Mhm.
do it where you're intermittently fasting and Daniel fasting. So you're
Mhm.
giving yourself a stretch of period where you're not eating, but then when you are eating, it's only Daniel fast approved
Right.
items.
Right.
Then you can
Mhm.
also do it where you are not giving yourself a time that you cannot eat, but everything you're eating is approved.
Right.
And I say that to say regardless of which method I'm using, whenever I go back to the fridge multiple times, I had to recognize that I'm not really exercising the intentionality and discipline behind the fast. So every single time that I go to the fridge that is outside of my allotted meals for the day, where I would say my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner, that's a moment to go pray.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what that is. That's what the signal's for. And let's face it,
Right.
90+% of people, that's what we miss.
Yeah.
Because now the body's calling you to do something else, and the spirit's supposed to
Yeah.
remind you, hey, this is what it's for. This particular
Yeah.
time right here. Not when you've got it all in control, because now that's you leaning on you.
Yes.
It's when you don't feel that control, and now you got to lean on God. Go sit with His Word,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is what God's
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
You know, you'll thirst no more.
Yeah.
You'll be hungry no more because you're being filled by the Spirit. What He comes to give you is something that's more fulfilling.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, as you were telling the story, Michelle, I was just thinking, one thing that I've learned,
Yeah.
while I was have been fasting with Transformation Church, is that when you tend to focus too much on like what you can and cannot eat, I've learned this for myself. Like, there was a time when I was fasting where I was so focused on what I should and should what I could and could not eat that I ended up missing the whole point of the fasting in the first place, which is
That's so
which is
easy to do.
yeah, which is getting closer to God. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until the pastor, he mentioned how he was like, some of you need to eat a chocolate bar because you're so focused on the whole, like, what you could and cannot eat, and you're not even focusing on God,
That's a
you
full
know?
Snickers commercial right there.
Yeah.
You get a little hangry when you're hungry. It's like, wait a minute.
And so, when you mentioned that, Michelle, that's what I was thinking of from my experience. It's like,
Yeah.
and so also when you mentioned about the intentionality of the fast, I think that is so important for real, because it's like a lot of us, when we do fast, we do it,
Mm-hmm.
out of just religious, performance. And I've
Yeah.
started realizing that for myself, I was getting in that trap.
Yeah.
I was just doing it just to do it, and I wasn't doing it with intentionality. So
Yeah.
it's the intentionality is the important part,
It
because
is.
it's all about getting closer to God, and it's also about abstaining from what it is that keeps you away from God on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I realized during my experience of attempting to fast.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what kind of fasting you guys were doing?
Yeah, so they encourage doing the Daniel fast, because that's what they're doing.
Okay.
But they also let everyone know that just do a fast that you feel like the Lord is leading you to, whether it's a social media fast,
Yeah.
or
Right.
it's a fast from I guess junk food, or a fast from TV, or
Whatever calls your flesh.
yeah, exactly. And so that's what they encourage, but they mainly do the Daniel fast.
So here's the thing,
Okay.
right? And I've heard this on recent clips. Everyone's got their opinion. Everyone's got their opinion. And
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
opinions are correct, whatnot. But it's like the damnation of it sometimes is a little extreme, right?
Yeah.
So I heard someone talk about, people who do the whole fasting from social media and, and from sugar and then that's all cute, but that's not real fast. It's like, you know what? Relax, buddy. People have to start somewhere. And this comes from me. I got
It's about
pictures.
heart posture. It's
It
heart
it is.
posture.
And it's also about what you know as well. And if you want to see someone fail, tell them to do the thing that Jesus did. Because as you're talking there about that's not real fast, that's real fasting, very few people do a water fast.
Yeah.
Very few people do complete abstinence from everything fast.
Yeah.
And
This
so funny.
Go ahead.
I've done that one.
Yeah.
And God is so good. That's where we need to be more frequently.
But it's a lead up to it. Try it out on your imagine. Welcome, you Christian. Welcome to the Church of Zion. We're gonna do fasting next week, so don't eat nothing for the next 4 days. Like what?
Yeah.
For real though.
It's a buildup. You would not give a Bible to a new beginner and be like, I expect you to read this. It's an easy read. You should be able to read this by the end of the week, and then come back and write out an assessment. So let me know exactly what you understood. Like,
and then
Yeah.
go dry fast for 3 days.
right? Like, no, let's be realistic. And at the end of the day, it's like
Yeah.
I'm watching this video and I'm not being convinced because I'm like, I know what fast I do. I just the things I know I need to get away from. My battle
Right.
is it's not a diet, Eustace.
Mhm.
It's a fast. It's not a diet. I'm like, yo, if I cut this stuff out right now, it's like I try and do a 2-for-1. It's like, don't do that, man. But
Don't do that.
but even if I do the 2-for-1, the truth of the matter is, am I spending the time with him?
Yeah.
That's the
That's the
key
thing.
thing.
And the last fast I did was the top of this year was
Mhm.
far like the most revealing one for me because it was closer to where I should be.
Yeah.
And it's like I realized it's what he's been calling me to do in the first place. Whether it be a fast or not, the
Yeah.
time I spend with him, how I spend it. Am I
Yeah.
in my little quiet
Quality.
place or am I in my convenient little comfy chair playing some soothing music in the background? Which I'm not knocking. I'm just saying that
No.
it's like we have to really pay attention because it's not even so much about the music and the comfy chair. But if you say you can't do without those
No.
things, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think when Jesus went to go fast for 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, you think he was in a comfy spot? He's in the wilderness.
Man.
Yeah.
There's no comfy chair like bedrock on the Flintstones. It's like he's on the ground. He's amongst trees. He's amongst
Yeah.
shrubs. He's not in any
Yeah.
comfortable place.
Mhm.
And, we're so quick to always compare it. Oh, well, you should do it this way. No one is trying to do it like Jesus. From no one in my circle.
No.
No.
And at the end of
No.
the day, it's like, that's the real thing. And it's, of course, as I bring up that story of Jesus, like, there's a test. This is just it because
Mm.
you're at your weakest. Like, I'll tell you right now, I can't go grocery shopping and I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm making meals up in my head for the week. And I'm
Yeah.
buying stuff that's not even there yet. I'm buying stuff. And my little $60 shop around to grab that quick little this and that turns into a full scale grocery cart. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't make good decisions when I'm hungry in the grocery store.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So
It's
here we
true.
are, and we're fasting. Would you do a 21? Would you do a 40 day? Would you do a water fast? Would you do a Daniel fast? Like you're doing the
Yeah.
fasting. It's like it reveals us how much you're submitting yourself to the process of being closer to God.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And at the end of the day, people look at that story how Jesus was tempted afterwards because to the devil, people think the devil's smart. He is not. He comes to the Son of God of all people. He knows who he is. He knew him before he got casted out. And he says, let me see if I can tempt him. As if.
Yes.
As if. Because he knows if I get tempted, everything's a wash.
Mm.
And his love for us is greater than his love for his desire to eat or to rest at that time.
Yeah.
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 And so he of course blocks off the devil. Everyone should know the story being brought up
Yeah.
by seeing cities, being offered everything, blah, 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 blah. We get that. But understand the underlying message, which is Jesus at his lowest point physically as a man, but spiritually,
Yeah.
he was all filled and completed and connected to the Father himself.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the devil thought he could
Yes.
try to see if he could tempt him because he was at his weakest point physically.
Yeah. Because this is how the devil thinks. Sometimes he gets credit for things he shouldn't get credit for.
Yeah.
So, not to jump off topic, but a girl yesterday, I was listening to this great podcast. This girl's talking about the devil got to her at a young age because he could see who she's going to become. I'm like, he can't see nothing. He can see that you have potential to become, because if you got a light around you and you're gonna walk with God, of course God can use it for anything. He just doesn't want that. But to be so detailed as he saw that she's gonna be, man, that dude can't see Jack. All he can see is that you are for God, and of course God's gonna use you. That's all he can see.
Yeah.
Which is common stuff, right? But at the end of the day, it's like he's tempting Jesus. If he could see, he wouldn't bother wasting his time. Right? So this is what's going to happen with us. When we go through a fast, we are going to be tempted. It doesn't look like it's a devil, but you went ahead and held that fridge door and opened it up and looked again. You just got there 5 minutes ago. Why are you back in front of this fridge again? It is past 6 o'clock. You don't need to be hungry.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, like, we're fortunate. We get the grace to do the fast in so many different ways, and we're not being judged by God. And anyone could disagree with that, couldn't care less. Because the reality is this: I'm talking about people outside this podcast, not you guys. You guys are careful. Your opinion counts. I'm talking about the simple fact that uh, Jesus did all this and he had no distractions. We will stop eating after 6 to do the fasting all the way till, the next day when we're supposed to eat again. And we're staying up late at night watching TV. In your fast, that distraction's gotta go, in my opinion. It's just another thing that's taking away your time from even saying, well, I'm watching this Christian podcast. Okay, I'm not gonna say you can't.
Yeah.
Did you end up watching for 3 hours and then read like 10 minutes of Bible?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the key.
Yeah.
Right? Let's face it, our podcasting and our music and everything else, for the most part, it's connection light. Like people can connect to God through those things. But spend that time alone with Him alone and wait in silence. Wait in silence. We're like, Lord, I'm waiting for you to talk to me.
Yeah.
I'll sit here. Yeah. Sit there. We don't have the discipline to even sit for 20 minutes in silence. That is hard.
Yeah.
I don't feel ashamed to say that. It's difficult. I couldn't do it as a child. I can't do it as an adult.
I still can barely do it as an adult.
I don't have ADHD, but come on. But to sit there though, and to have your mind focus on Him, that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get racy brain sometimes. I tease my stepmom about that. She got massive races. Oh my God. Poor woman sometimes like, you need to give your brain a rest. But I get it.
Yeah.
Like, sit there and your intention is to spend time with God, not to think about what you have to do next in the next hour. If you understand the submission portion of fasting is the key, and it's not as easy as you think it is. Refusing food, you will learn.
Oh yeah.
Submitting time.
That's why we should be doing it more frequently.
That's right.
Because, like you said, it's about the submission part of it. It has nothing to do with just the not eating. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's what do I do with the time when all the distractions are gone? Because I know for sure I have fasted before, and I can go back and say, I just spent 21 days fasting. I think I maybe spent 3 days in serious prayer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
But none of us are saying that, right? Like, I think we're forgetting that there's people from the outside looking in going, I can't do that, because they're assuming that this thing looks quote unquote perfect. And the reality is it's not, because we're still human. And the whole it's the journey. It's the journey that is the reason why you're fasting. It's not for this quote unquote result. The results will come after you continue the practice of that submission. You said it before, it's the submission. I know for sure I've done Daniel fasting, which I love because I like it because it's 21 days of me developing better habits.
Yeah.
But the thing is, depending on what you've done in that 21 days, yes, okay, fine, you've done better with the food habits. But I find sometimes I even get so distracted trying to make sure I keep up on all 3 healthy meals, and that I forget about the reason I was fasting.
Yep.
I'm so focused on now making 3 great meals because I want to be satisfied that I still don't spend enough time with God.
So let's talk about that.
So I'll say this. I say this to say, because I'm actually I want to read from Daniel quickly to kind of, for those who do not know the full context of like where the Daniel fast came from, I want to give that context but I also actually want to pull it back to the dry fasting or water fasting even. Because that's where the real impact comes from. That time, and you have to be super intentional with that time, because it's great that you're not eating and sometimes you are drinking water only, sometimes not even water. But I want to read here from Daniel really quickly for a reason, because it gives some insight. And where is it? Here, I have in my Bible here. Daniel 1, and I will do my best to read it as quickly as I can, but it's a few lines long.
It's all good. It's all good.
Subscription's paid for. Go ahead, man.
So Daniel 1, during the 3rd year of King Jehoiakim, bear with me, in Judah, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came to Jerusalem and besieged it. The Lord gave him victory over King Jehoiakim of Judah and permitted him to take some of the sacred objects from the temple of God. So Nebuchadnezzar took them back to the land of Babylonia and placed them in the treasure house of his God. Then the king ordered Ashpenaz, his chief of staff, to bring to the palace some of the young men of Judah's royal family and other noble families who had been brought to Babylon as captives. So this is where it really starts. This is why Daniel decides to make that commitment to choosing the fast he did.
Yeah.
He said, select only strong, healthy, and good-looking young men, he said. Make sure they are well-versed in every branch of learning and are gifted with knowledge. This was always about learning and knowledge, wisdom, good judgment, discernment, right? And they're suited to serve in the royal palace. Royal palace. And when we look at the kingdom, like we're talking about serving in the kingdom of God here.
Yeah.
Train these young men in the language and literature of Babylon. The king assigned them a daily ration of food and wine from his own kitchens. They were to be trained for 3 years. 3 years they're going to go through training. And then they would enter the royal service. So all of this was to be prepared to become leaders.
Right.
And I think that's sometimes what we forget about the reason the Daniel fast exists. It was the preparation to become a leader. Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were 4 of the young men chosen, all from the tribe of Judah. Chief of staff renamed them with these Babylonian names. Daniel was Belteshazzar, I always pronounce that incorrectly. Hananiah was called Shadrach. Mishael was called Meshach. Azariah was called Abednego. But Daniel was determined not to defile himself by eating the food and wine given to him by the king. He asked the chief of staff for permission not to eat these unacceptable foods. Now, God had given the chief of staff both respect and affection for Daniel. He already had favor. That's what we have to pay. He already had favor.
Yeah.
But he responded, I am afraid of my lord the king, who has ordered that you eat this food and wine. If you become pale, thin compared to the other young men, youths your age, I am afraid the king will have me beheaded. Daniel spoke with the attendant who had been appointed by the chief of staff to look after Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Please test us for 10 days on a diet of vegetables and water, Daniel said. At the end of the 10 days, see how we look compared to the other young men who are eating the king's food. Then make your decision in light of what you see. The attendant agreed to Daniel's suggestion and tested them for 10 days. And this is the part that, now we come into seeing what was the fruit of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the 10 days, Daniel and his 3 friends looked healthier and better nourished than the other young men who had been eating the food assigned by the king. And that food was lavish food and wine, correct? So after that, the attendant fed them only vegetables instead of the food and wine provided for the others. God gave these 4 young men an unusual aptitude for understanding every aspect of literature and wisdom, and God gave Daniel the special ability to interpret the meanings of visions and dreams. When the training period ordered by the king was complete, the chief of staff brought all the young men to King Nebuchadnezzar, and the king talked with them. And no one impressed them as much as who? Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, the ones who had been fasting on vegetables and water. So they entered the royal service whenever the king consulted them in any matter requiring wisdom and balanced judgment. He found them 10 times more capable than any of the magicians and enchanters in his entire kingdom. Daniel remained in the royal service until the first year of reign of King Cyrus. So obviously, very long verse to read, but we see clearly, like they were enlightened after that point, right?
Yeah.
And if that's just from eating with wisdom, literally you're eating with wisdom. And it allowed them to be 10 times, what did he say? 10 times wiser than the others.
Right?
They were more capable.
I was going to say, and you said that by you reading the Daniel part, it ties into what you were talking about just beforehand, because I was going to say, it's all about preparation.
Yes.
And God uses this opportunity to prepare us for what's next, for what's to come.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right? And that's what people miss. Is we get so caught up in what we're lacking, what we're not getting, what we're so used to getting. But that preparation, you were talking before you read the Daniel portion of it, you were talking about, trying to pick out healthy meals to eat. But it's like, if we add to that month of March, I'm gonna go on a fast. Let me start packing the things I need from now. I'm gonna meal prep so everything's there, so I don't have to think about it. I know it's time to eat this. All I go in there, the food for nourishment. I get rid of it. I gotta go spend my time in the Word. Like, we prep ourselves properly
Yeah.
success can only be so much greater. It can only be
Yeah.
so much more. And when I say prepare ourselves, I'm not saying that the meal that we picked is why we're succeeding. It's the fact that we don't have the meal as a distraction anymore. We don't have the idea, well,
Right.
it's gotta be this. Like, you imagine them switching over to just having vegetables. It's very straightforward. I'm just gonna have vegetables for this period of time.
Right.
Done. I don't have to think about, oh, what's being served tonight? Is it steak? Is the king sinless
Yeah.
lamb? And is there wine? And all this kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And it's like, it also proves to show just how simple God's orders and plans are and how much more beneficial it can be for us. Having a meal that everyone is being served and they're having vegetables, but it had all the sustenance and nourishment that they need for their body because that's how God made it in the first place.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And
And
again, sorry, I was going to say real quick. And again, that
Mhm.
prepared them for what was to come.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Big trial and test, and they had no problem passing because they're well equipped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know,
And they're going in for 3 years of preparation.
Mm-hmm.
mm,
What were we saying?
mhm. No, I was gonna say, you know, like when you talk about how like this was preparing, it was basically preparing them. What I was thinking about is like also, you know how usually like the Daniel fast is like 21 days, you know. I was also thinking how sometimes it doesn't even most of the times it doesn't even depend on the amount of days it is, you know. It could be
Right.
it could even be because like it could be as little as 3 days, you know.
A lot of people do that. Yeah.
You know, it could be it could be a week. Like it just all depends on the intentionality
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
how you do the fast, you
Yeah.
know. And like you said, Michelle, you know, you like the Daniel fast, you know, that's the most common fast because it does help us build that habit, you know. It does help us,
Yeah.
you know, get rid of those old habits and build those new habits, you know. And so,
Right.
you know, at the same time, you know, it just depends on, you know, how fierce you're going about it. Like, well, not fierce, but how intentional you are about it.
Right.
So
Right. Well, let's get into like we talked about what makes it successful a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah.
mm,
And so if we're to look at the whole concept of it, like if you understand the purpose of why you're fasting, and again, as you pointed out
Mhm.
just now, Wesley, it's like whatever time you decide to dedicate, that's time to stick to. Like God just likes our word.
yeah.
Yeah.
mm,
And so if it's not 21 days, it's fine. If it's not 40 days, it's fine. Because as we pointed out,
Yeah.
like notice how no one really pushes the 40-day fast, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to have success. But
mm,
the real success is also not just during the portion of you doing the fast, but after the
Mhm.
fast.
yeah.
Right.
After the fast is
Yeah.
so important. And you know, you look to see, well, how long does it take me to start slipping back into old ways?
The very next day.
Right.
For me, it's just like a couple weeks. But the reason for that too is that
Literally.
you stopped. Yes, you may not be
Mhm.
fasting food wise, but
Mm,
should the
Yeah.
intentionality behind reading and spending time with God change? No.
Yeah.
mm,
It was the gateway for you to
Never.
continue that going forward. But for some reason, we think, oh, I did the 20 days. Okay, I'm done. And I go have a
Yeah.
piece of meat and 2 2s, and I decide I'm going to pick up and watch the TV show. It's like, that wasn't the point. It's not for you just to get close to God for that 21 days or whatever amount of time you put aside.
yeah.
It's what new
Right.
habits can you build in gaining your connection with God more frequently because He wants a relationship with you,
Right.
Mm,
not
And
just
if
for
you
the
even
40
look at
days.
the habits of yeah, if you even look at the habits of Daniel, this is beyond the fast. But if you look at the habits of Daniel beyond the fast, those were still the habits he had within the fast, because at some point, King Darius had created a law that essentially I think no one could pray.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
to
yes.
yeah, they couldn't pray unless it was to I think it
The
was maybe
God
to a
that He,
specific god or something like
yeah,
that.
the symbolic God that they created.
Mm,
Yeah,
Right. And in it, if you look later on into Daniel, it says, but when Daniel learned that the law had been signed, he went home and knelt down as usual
yes.
in his upstairs room with his windows open towards Jerusalem, and he prayed 3 times a day, just as he had always done, giving thanks to his God. And that's the key thing I think we forget is Daniel was already praying 3 times a day with or without a fast. You now are engaged in fasting. The prayer time needs to remain or increase because it's a consecrated, I think we forget that it's a consecrated time that we're dedicating to God. And if we even take outside of the Daniel fast, that includes food, and we look at the dry fasting or the Esther fast, I guess a lot of people will call it.
Yeah.
I've done that fasting, and it goes right back to your intentionality. It doesn't matter if you're doing 1 day, 3 days, whatever you're doing. If you're not
Yeah.
intentional with it, it doesn't even matter. When you're eating nothing, every single time you think of food, you should be praying. So imagine 3 days of no eating. All you can think about is eating, which means all you should be doing in that time is praying. I know for me personally, when I have done that dry fasting, I'm extremely intentional that I'm not leaving my house for 3 days either.
Right.
So I'm at home, and on top of that, my social media is disconnected,
Yeah.
and I'm not allowed to watch television.
Yeah.
No TV, no YouTube, no sermons,
Yeah.
no social media, no food. What do you do then? Like,
Yeah.
and guess what? I still struggled to pray. I struggled so badly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I would turn on worship music and worship. Would go clean a bathroom. I would do everything except for pray, and then I have to remind myself, Michelle, go sit down and pray.
Yeah.
And I would start because I think a lot of us are afraid to admit how much we struggle with prayer.
Yeah.
When we say pray fervently or pray without ceasing, have you ever tried to pray without ceasing? It's difficult.
No. But
because after 10 minutes of prayer, maybe 20 or 30, you almost feel like you don't know what to pray. But that's where the power of, being able to pray in tongues comes in as well too.
Also,
It's not a substitute.
The Bible also points out not to be like pagan in Babylon in prayer.
No.
So it's like, sometimes it's not even about necessarily like prayer time is speaking, but also in silence. Here's what we do in prayer a lot. We do a lot of praying where we're asking for this and asking for that direction, wisdom, and we don't even wait for an answer.
Yeah.
Like, people need to sit a little longer. Let him speak to you.
Yeah. It's like,
actually, speaking of which, I was watching something on fasting, and that was one of the key things that I didn't understand. And I know for me, I'm an infant when it comes to fasting. There's going to be people who have been fasting significantly longer than I have and have way more wisdom to share than I could possibly. But one of the things that they talked about, which I didn't consider when I had done my first fast, but as I go forward, I consider when I fast now, there's only one intention. Set one major intention for the fast in terms of what you're praying for or about. So is it family? Is it breaking is it breaking chains?
Right.
Is it wisdom? Is it discernment over a specific decision? What is that thing that you are fasting for? And stay focused on it in prayer.
Yeah. And what I was gonna say was, going back to what you said, Yusuf, about like we don't even wait for God to answer after praying. It's like us picking up the phone, talking to God, telling him all our stuff, and then hanging up the phone after, not giving him a chance to talk.
And not even a goodbye.
Yeah.
Finish saying what you're saying. Click, click.
And the call is at
end. Did someone say goodbye?
Yeah. But also when you talk about praying without ceasing, Michelle, also what I've learned is that like it could also mean like as you go about your day, just stay in constant communication with God. It doesn't have to be a few minute prayer. It could just be like, God, give me strength at work today. It could even be something as simple as that. So that's also could go with praying without ceasing.
That's the thing. We do have a lot of misconceptions about prayer as well. Prayers are conversation and our opportunity to connect with God. How you connect with God, it's between you and him. And some people are gonna get it wrong, but I'm sure a lot of people who thought they're getting it wrong is probably getting it right. Like, he just wants connection.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same reason why he doesn't make us all do the same thing in this life. Some people are construction workers, some people are nurses, some people are, teacher. the same way that we come to him is like he has a relationship with us, so he knows. You know what?
Yeah.
I know Michelle comes to me at this time of day, and she's been consistent with it. That's what he
Mhm.
loves. Your consistency.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
keep to your word. Like
Mhm.
me,
It does.
confession. I've got 3 time slots that I just I based on the fact that like, okay, I know I got the morning one down. Okay, this afternoon I can get this afternoon
Yeah.
one, and then the evening one I'm like, oh man, why am I snoozing this alarm?
Yeah.
I got the evening one
Right.
just when you know. Because the
Yeah.
thing is, when I put it down, here's my
Mm.
problem. I plan my prayer around my day, not my day around my prayer. So the
Mm.
priority is
Yeah.
not my prayer, and that's the problem, right? So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
if you know that, again, I pointed this out because it's not about what else they do. Let's talk about what people do right. When it comes to people who are Muslim and they say,
Right.
hey, at this time I gotta pray, man, they can be in a
Yeah.
cab. They will pull it over and find themselves at where they need to be
Yeah.
to go do that prayer.
That's true.
And that's something that we
Very
need to
true.
understand. It's like, let's not be flexible with God. He can be flexible with his love
Yes.
for us, but let's be intentional and let's be consistent because that building block is a start for a lot of things he can do in your life. You consistently
Yeah.
volunteer at this place at this time. You consistently call this person to check on them spiritually. You consistently, you know what I mean? Like, be
Yeah.
consistent so you can
Be
work with you.
consistent. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not a control thing. It's he's faithful. How are you faithful?
Mm.
He's
Yeah.
consistent. How are you consistent? If we're supposed to emulate Jesus, if we're supposed to emulate all the good things that are in God because he created us, we're supposed to be more like him as much as we can be. This is part of his character. How he loves,
Yeah.
how he keeps his word, how he doesn't judge, how he's faced. Like, these we're supposed to emulate. And so we need to recognize that that's part of this whole thing. How often do we submit ourselves to him? And then are we only waiting for crisis to happen to be like, now's the time for me to fall on my knees? I mean, if you do, it's cool. But there's times when you're not in crisis. That's when you should be on your knees giving him thanks because you're in a
Yeah.
peaceful time right now.
Yeah.
So fasting is supposed to help you recognize these kind of things. And we touched on prayer and
Yeah.
our need to be stronger in prayer. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's like when we pray, man, a good portion of that should be a lot of thanks. As you need to praise
Yeah.
and worship in the sense of recognizing all the things you should be thankful for, all the things you are thankful for.
Yeah.
You start recognizing things he's
Yeah.
done up to that moment of you taking the time to go pray them. Like that portion alone before you even get to ask him anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
this is just part of what we need to start recognizing as people trying to walk with God. It's a learning lesson, man.
It's building
not
that
easy.
obedience, like
It
building
is.
that intentional obedience.
It is.
Yeah.
Submission is key. Submission is key. And guess what? We
Yeah.
submit every day. Question is, what and who are you submitting to?
Yeah.
100% truth.
Yeah.
Right? Gotta be something.
Yeah.
It's either food or it's TV.
Yeah.
It's either that person you want to talk to about, which is just pure gossip, or it's that social media page. You have more consistency on the likes and follows of the subscriptions you've made online. It's just crazy how we just don't recognize the things we prioritize in our life and where God falls in that line. And we're ashamed when we stop to think about it because like how did he end up being
Oh yeah.
5th or 6th in the line? And there's some people who jump up now. I love those people. Oh no, not me. Oh no, not you. Really? Except for when your mom calls you to do something and you decide, oh, okay, Lord, I gotta go help my mom first. Yeah, honor your mother and father.
Yeah.
Say before him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, man, we all have a lot of work to do, and it's just something that we need to recognize and be a little humble about because there's a lot to learn with it. And yeah, there's wrong ways to do things, but even with wrong ways, there's growth in it, and He will convict and change us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yes. It's good talking with you guys.
It always is. It always.
Always.
So, thank you all again for this episode. And join us back next week when we have another topic of great conversation. We appreciate you guys coming out. And we'll have a great one.
Yes. Take care.
Have a good one.